Assalamu alaikum. मेरा नाम आयशा अमीर अहमद है. I'm an educator. सारी उम्र से तालीम देने के काम में लगी हुई हूँ. I've done this in different capacities. I'm a teacher. I'm an administrator. But one of the things that has been a running theme throughout my life has been an association with public speaking and teaching people how to communicate better. I was a debater on the Pakistan team at the World Schools Debating Championships. And I was the president of the Debating Society of Pakistan for 7 years. That's work I did in a volunteer capacity because I believe that debate is important in a democracy, because I believe that learning how to disagree respectfully is an immensely important task that every citizen needs to learn how to do. I was asked to speak a little bit about public speaking and what someone might do when they're starting out in public speaking. And I've had many years to think about this particular problem. And it seems to me that there are some basic things that it's important to remember. The first and foremost is that even though you're speaking in front of an audience, you are the person who you are, and you should present yourself honestly. Because if there's anything that an audience can pick up on, it is when you are being fake. अगर आप अपनी दिल की सच्चाई से नहीं बात कर रहे हैं, तो आपके सुनने वालों को फौरन मालूम हो जाएगा. लिहाजा जब भी आप बोलें, तो आप जो हैं, आपको अपने आप को वैसे ही पेश करना चाहिए. उसके बाद हम आते हैं कि आप किस मकसद से तकरीर करने आए हैं या बात करने आए हैं. So your purpose can be either to persuade someone, आप किसी को राज़ी करने के लिए आए हैं. Your purpose can be to inform someone, आप किसी चीज़ के बारे में मालूमात देना चाह रहे हैं. Or it can be to entertain, आप लोगों को लुत्फ़अंदोज़ करना चाह रहे हैं. All of those are completely legitimate reasons to take up public speaking. But each of those comes with a different set of tasks that you have to then do. So once you've decided, okay, am I here to persuade, am I here to inform, or am I here to entertain? Your next task is to figure out, well, who am I doing that for? मेरे सुनने वाले कौन हैं? If you're speaking to people who are your peers, they will listen to you differently. If you are speaking to people who are not predisposed to hear you, then you have to present your point in a different way. If you're there to entertain, then that's possibly the hardest out of those three, because when you're there to inform someone, your material is there already. You know what you have to say, and the only thing you need to worry about is how to present it. If you're there to entertain, then you need to know who your audience is in much greater detail, because it's about what interests them. But even when you're there to inform or persuade, you still have to worry about your audience's interest. It's not reasonable to expect that you're going to persuade someone speaking English if they only speak Urdu. अगर वो सिर्फ अंग्रेज़ी जानते हैं, तो मैं लाख उर्दू में कितने अच्छे शेर सुना दूँ, वो मेरे बात से कायल नहीं होंगे. So that's a really basic kind of goal. Most of the time when I'm talking about public speaking, my experience has been with debate or with persuasion. So either disagreeing with someone or persuading a larger group to agree with my point of view. And so I'll talk more about that and why I think that's important. If you look at the kind of public discourse we have today, आप TV खोलिए, look at any talk show, look at any political speech. The majority of that is spent attacking personalities or interrupting each other or being very, very loud and very, very angry. या तो एक दूसरे के ऊपर नाजेबा किस्म के रिमार्क्स पास किए जा रहे होते हैं, वरना कता कलामी हो रही है, और जो ठोस बातें हैं उन पर बात नहीं करना चाहते. And if the point of a conversation is to persuade or to disagree, then you can only actually do that if you talk about the matter at hand. And so, to me, it seems that public decisions can only be made if we're willing to have these conversations. Because people do disagree, and it's perfectly fine to disagree. One of the issues in our particular culture is that sometimes we consider the very act of disagreeing rude. तो क्योंकि हम किसी से बहस करने को बजाते खुद एक बदतमीजी समझते हैं, लिहाजा बहुत से लोगों ने कभी ये सीखा ही नहीं कि तमीज़ से बहस करने के भी तरीक़े हैं. और ये है वो चीज़ जिस पे हमारी पूरी कौम को गौर करने की ज़रूरत है कि एक दूसरे से जब हमारा इत्तेफाक राय ना हो तो हम आपस में बात कैसे करें, और ऐसे बात करें कि हम किसी नतीजे पे पहुंच सकें, और हमारा मकसद ये होना चाहिए कि वो नतीजा मस्बत हो. It shouldn't matter to us whether our point of view is the one that finally wins or not. What should matter to us is that the most positive outcome is reached. In order to get there, what do you need to do? You need to recognize that everyone has something of worth to offer. Everyone's point of view comes from a legitimate place. They may not present it in a way that you agree with. You may not agree with their values. हो सकता है आपको उनकी अक़दार से क़तन कोई हमदर्दी ना हो, कोई हिमायत ना हो, मगर वो अपनी राय रखने का हक़ बहरहाल रखते हैं. और अगर उनकी राय है तो वो भी आप ही की कम्युनिटी का एक हिस्सा है, और जब वो आपकी कम्युनिटी का हिस्सा हैं तो आपको उनको किसी तरह से कायल करना है. In order to do that, you have to be willing to listen to what they have to say. So you listen to them, and you have to weigh what they say, because some of it will not make sense, but some of it may make sense. And there are two things that will happen. One is that if you listen to your opponent with respect, they are more likely to be willing to come to an agreement with you. But also, if you listen to your opponent with respect, then your audience listens to you with greater care. Because everyone in the audience can see that you have genuinely tried to hear what the other person is trying to say. And this goes back to what I said right at the beginning, that an audience can catch a fake very, very quickly. If you are not honest in how you present yourself, your audience will be unconvinced. So when I say that you have to present yourself honestly, and when I say that you have to worry about your audience's interests, you can't do this in a cynical way, because otherwise public speaking is pointless. If you are doing it as a way of fooling the people, then you might as well give up now. Because you can fool them once, you can maybe even fool them twice. But the fact is that it's not a worthwhile endeavor. Your goal should be to speak in a way that makes a positive impact, that when you leave, what you've said stays with your listeners for good reasons. So, if you are beginning public speaking, this would be my advice to you. Show up with who you are honestly. Have a goal to reach your audience. It's not about you, it's about them. And third, if you have an opponent, always be willing to keep in mind that they have something worthwhile to say, and be willing to move forward, accepting whatever is worthwhile from what they have to say. Thank you.